What a wonderful freedom we have in Jamaica. Unlike many other countries of the world, every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Jamaica time, for 2 hours, and if it were longer, we could do it. We're free, the Honorable Pearnel Charles and myself, free to talk our talk, free to talk about the affairs of the nation, free to invite you to say anything you like within the bounds of the law, and the law is very ample in this regard. Yes, the freedoms that we enjoy. What a blessing it is in this our 60th anniversary of independence to enjoy freedom of expression. As we welcome you on the Bridge 99 FM and to the public eye. Mr. Charles, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ronnie. How are you?
Fine, and we're sharers of that freedom.
You're looking very good this morning. You must have had a great weekend.
I did. I have a little problem with things like what happened this weekend. I enjoy it, but at the same time, I remember, that the Romans would give their slaves bread and circus to keep them quiet.
Oh.
Bread and circus.
Yes.
We give them the circus, not much bread.
So we are short 50%.
No, but, I think...
And bread is more than 50%.
Well, no, but you see, I think, for example, and I know your heart would go out, as mine does, to the people in central Kingston who were burnt out.
Yes.
And I'm happy that the Prime Minister himself
went there. I am.
Yes?
I'm very proud of that.
Okay.
To see that he finds the time to go there and make the declaration, the declaration that you listened to this morning, that he is going to make effort from his ministry to rebuild sufficient housing for those people. You have to now speak to the owners. You can't just contact the land, but he's going to rebuild it.
And all of that is commendable, yes? But it took disaster for that to happen, when in fact, as our listeners here and abroad know, yes, there are over 1 million Jamaicans, clearly, and my belief is it's more, living in circumstances which diminish their human capacity. I know those yards that burnt very well, yes? And I know that the promises are made, and I trust that they will be kept. I've had instances like that in the past, and hopefully they will be maintained, they will be kept. But I worry that we spend so much money on festivities. Nice, you have to have, yes? But entertainment is to come after achievement, not in place of it, Mr. Charles.
Well, it is easy to talk like you are doing now. But you go and tell a man, say, listen, man, you can't get to bus a tune,
Yeah.
because we have to work on something. You talk nonsense. When I saw and I congratulated the Minister Grange.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that they could perform that sort of presentation so quickly after the virus situation.
Right.
I think it was great.
Sure.
And the arena was great. But Ronnie, whatever the Romans say about music and bread.
Circus and bread. Music and bread.
The truth is that circus or music makes a great contribution to stability of certain areas.
Sure, it calms you down.
Look at it. Look at it, because you don't have bread to feed everybody, but the man jump up.
Oh, but we can have bread to feed
I don't,
everybody.
and this is what I'm going to take you on.
You can't.
It's not an alternative. We can't find enough housing for the amount of people needed in Central and West Kingston.
I'm not blaming this government
alone.
We have constantly, over a long period of time,
Yes.
placed the interests of the few higher than the interests of the many.
Because we don't have what it takes to do it the other way around.
We have it.
We have the talk, but we don't have the money.
No, we do. The housing trusts have more money put on than they can count. So much so that we've been taking it away from them and it trouble them. But try, sir, whether you're in your government or the one I served, try and get a loan for a housing trust in any of those communities.
Hold on.
You can't do it.
Let's go back to housing trust. housing trust money is our money, you know.
Of course. And so what
Hold on,
has
let me
happened
ask you.
with
Did you get back your money you put in housing trust?
Indeed, I did.
So everybody, they see people is talking about money in housing trust.
No. But the money is indeed
No,
you have
hold
to
on.
get it back. But its primary purpose is to build house, and the people who put their money in there, yes, are not be able to get the houses.
But then get back the money.
No, that's not what they wanted.
No. Hold on. Hold on. A lot of people believe that the
Why-
housing
why?
trust have a whole heap of money put down.
Oh, it does.
But it's not their money.
No, but then what is it there for?
If I
What is it there for? Nobody is saying they must give it away.
No.
Nobody is saying what you must do is invest where it is most needed for a return.
So the persons who put their money in there must make an application to get it to do their housing,
Sir.
or get back their money,
Sir.
It's not.
No.
It's not a bank put on and.
No. I am amazed that you are defending the put down policy. The housing trust could, with the savings of the ordinary Jamaican people,
Yes.
the housing trusts themselves say that some 60% of their contributors cannot qualify for a loan.
All right, so
My God.
so you had a resolution.
Yeah.
You forget.
Uh-huh.
You have resolution
Yeah.
that would lift that once a man is making a contribution.
Right.
That the housing trust
Yeah.
don't look on his contribution,
Yeah.
look on his ability
That's right.
to contribute and his need.
Yes, sir.
They don't do that. They
No.
say, what was your contribution? You can't buy a house with
No.
that. What they do with the money? They keep it in there and they wait till it all. They use the profit to do something and they give it back what you put
And
in.
government take with some every year.
Well, I don't remember which government it
No,
started.
we started when the PNP started.
You serious?
Of course. And
And the JP followed it?
and the JP follow them to this day.
Oh.
To this
Well,
day.
anyhow,
So
so-
come
so-
we
so-
come
so
we
let us-
call it straight now.
All right. Let the two of us come to some decision now. The Housing Trust was one of the best institutions put forward by, it was the PNP government?
It was Michael Manley.
Right, Michael Manley. It assisted thousands of people.
Yes.
We are saying that it has money to assist more people
Much more.
and more of who have invested in it.
Right.
Now, problem is, if you are not a housing trust contributor, can you get money from it?
No.
All right. So the majority of people who need
Yeah.
houses are not
So
contributors.
when I was a member of parliament,
Yes. You come with some resolution.
indeed, and I went to my people and
Yes.
said, "No, come now. Everybody must contribute to the housing trust."
Yes.
Yes, because you are making yourself eligible.
Yes.
And the reply would come back to me, you don't know what you're talking about,
Right.
because we will never be eligible. When we go up there with our little higgler money, them scorn we. When we go up there with our minimum wage, them say what that can buy.
Yes.
Yes? When I go to them and say, we, instead of building big house out at Old Harbor,
Yes.
why don't you invest $2 million in a yard on Smith Lane or James Street, which is the one's burnout,
Yes.
okay? And allow the people to pay back at the rate of, say, $3,000-4,000 a month, where they could put up a next bathroom so that everybody don't have to use the same one, where you have a different room for the children from the parents. So you build morals through appropriate infrastructure.
And the bridge would ask me not to come back if I object to that.
Okay. But then
I would not object to what you have said.
You wouldn't. But then I have to ask ourselves the question.
Yes.
Why have we, as a political class, failed to allow that, to do that as a matter of course? We haven't. We put down the money and make other people get the money and build up the high-rise on Ruthven Road.
Because, Ronnie, when one man come in to borrow 3,000 people's money, it's different from when one man going to borrow the little and put in there.
Well, sir, let me tell you.
You understand the point
Yep,
of it?
I do, but at the same time, we surely can overcome that any such difficulty.
Well,
by
I will agree
organizing
with
it.
you that we surely can do much
So
better.
when your people in Clarendon, or the people I represented in the past, or anybody in that situation, come and say, what is the likely prospect of my being able to own a home through my housing trust contributions? You and I choke up because we cannot answer within 5 years, within 10 years, and therefore those people either chops their teeth and get bitter and cynical, yes, or they adopt a lifestyle. You know how many young people I know want to live together as man and woman, maybe husband and wife, but they cannot. They just simply can't find the accommodation.
And I don't wish to cross you. One of the best things that I have seen,
yes, sir,
is whoever, I don't know it was which of the government, make people, 2 or 3 people can join.
True, excellent.
Right? And so
excellent.
One time
Make
it was
more
one.
affordable. Yes,
No, 2 or 3 now.
And now it's 3.
So the point is that more is being done, but not fast enough as far as you're concerned.
Exactly, but if you want social peace, if you want your economy to develop, and that's what you have to do, sir. Because it can't happen without it.
Ronnie,
if you don't have a foundation of family, and family is related to your accommodation, it would have been harder for Miss Gloria and yourself to do what you have done if you didn't have a stable place to live, sir. Same with me.
Well,
yes?
Well, put it this way, since you got touch Gloria, we wouldn't be able to educate our children.
Well, look at that.
And our children who have been educated has been able to educate their children.
Yes.
And guess what?
And how much more?
I have 18 grandchildren. All are heading to university
of course.
level.
Everyone.
Because of
that foundation.
The foundation. No, Ronnie, no, the truth. I mean, and I'm not saying you're wrong, you know.
No.
Mayo, we're lucky.
Yeah.
And it's probably more than luck. It's planned. But there are some people who spend the money to do other things.
But this is it. But then if you
they
have...
spend it on here.
Yeah.
They spend it on trips.
Yeah.
They spend it on rum party.
So what we who are leaders and the people who we are associated with, the political leadership, religious leadership, civic leadership, are we building a culture of co-responsibility? Are we building a culture that says, look here, yes, after health and food, education is key. Don't depend on government to pay the whole of it. Whatever them tell you, them can't manage. You have to put up your money.
I will tell you this, and you can wake me up any hours of the night and ask me the question. If we don't develop the total culture to educate our population, we are heading in the gully.
You know,
and it's very, very nasty in the gully.
But our Minister of Finance, the Honorable Nigel Clark, wrote an article in the press, in the Gleaner, last Sunday about development and what we have done and what we need to do. And he doesn't mention, I'm not blaming him, he doesn't mention the clear fact that unless we have stable families and progressive education, none of that can happen, no matter how brilliant he or anybody else is. In the same week, Chief Charles, as the Auditor General of Jamaica, has to report some massive mismanagement, money mismanagement in yet another state institution, the Urban Development Corporation, which falls within the Prime Minister's office. And the chairman and board of the Urban Development Corporation don't even have the decency to resign.
Yeah, but Ronnie, at what time does it become the responsibility of the government to know what is happening, before or after?
Every time. All the time.
No. Come now.
All the time, sir.
You were Minister of Education.
Yes, sir.
And it's when some of the teachers go wrong and it is exploded by the Cliff Hugheses and the others that you call in.
You know, a very important thing. And I'm understanding, but you know what is very important, particularly in public life, is a sense of shame. Yes? Once in 2002, some remarks were made about me. Yes? Certain financial matters.
Yes.
I never quit. I resigned and waited. It took 4 months for the same Auditor General, who never made the report, it was just rumor before, made the Auditor General look into it and said the man never do anything, it's clean.
Could I tell you something? Mm-hmm. And I want you to check it. I'm not trying to be a nice guy to you. When you resigned, that was the housing thing you're talking?
Yes.
I thought you were very foolish. Mm-hmm. I thought you were show-offish. Mm-hmm. But what you were actually doing was to do something that you believe in. Mm-hmm. And I would not have been that foolish. Mm-hmm. Because when you resign, a whole heap of people believe you're guilty. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because If I ever resign from something, you think I'll be here today? I'm a fighter. I don't back down.
All right.
But you back down and somebody fight for you. You come through.
Well,
Hail you.
Well, the point is.
1 minute, let me say something. I had backed you up, Ronnie. I thought it was a rumor, and it could happen to any one of us, and it was wrong for those of us who took it on and put me using my word, wrong for you to resign, which give them, because you see a Burke back them up, Charles, you see the man resign. You know, him know. And then afterward, I say, the man resigned, but what happened? Boy, him get a break.
Get a break.
You understand the point, Ronnie?
I understand the point, but I don't understand. You can't deal with that feeling. Look at what we're dealing with now. Petrojam, solid waste management, nutrition products, Ministry of Education, UDC, every one of the state agencies, yes? Some kind of cloud coming from the Auditor General. Not rumor, Auditor General now.
No, I'm glad we're on it.
You know, I'm not ashamed.
Hold on. How many people involved in that?
No.
How many people get in the lick? One.
Who?
The Prime Minister.
Yeah, but no.
The Minister.
I beg for the job, you know.
Running, hold on. Don't do it that way, running. You beg for job too, you get job.
Yes, and therefore you take responsibility.
And some of the things that happen, had you known, you would not have asked for the job.
So what I say...
No, hold on, let me tell you.
All right, sir. No.
I'm worried about this. Because
so what?
Nobody know that hundreds of people who are involved in that, and they put it to one person.
No, hold on, no. Not so. Because if you see, the logical end to your point is that nobody is held responsible.
No.
The purpose of being a minister or a prime minister.
You're missing me.
Yes.
The logical end is we must not put it on one person.
Okay, sir.
Because him don't know until it happens.
So, sir, we have a rule in the parliament that you presided over.
Yes.
That all state agencies supposed to hand in their accounts on an annual basis. So at least we who say we have the responsibility to protect the taxpayers' interests would be in a position to do so. You have a piece of paper that is certified that show you how the money go. And we, you and me and the rest, then and now continue to allow that to be breached, but we shell out the money anyway.
Yeah, but Ronnie, this is one thing that you and I agree on.
How'd that go?
Another thing.
And
all of these state agencies.
We didn't know.
All of these state agencies are supposed to hand in to the minister or to the government, to Parliament.
Yeah.
What?
Annual
report.
Yes, sir.
None of them
so what
have ever been debated in Parliament. They all pack up the garbage ban down there. So what is the hell was it doing it for?
Well, the public is asking us that. The public is saying, if I want my money to go in the right way and not in the wrong way, and we can't look to you, because look what you do. You throw away the report, or you don't make it happen at all.
Robert, the garbage pans down there, not enough.
What is the argument? The point is we're not doing our work.
The argument
we have
is
no sense of shame. And if it is not the minister who takes responsibility,
something is wrong.
Then at least the chairman must.
Something is wrong.
Or the managing director, somebody. Yes, but right now, this week, the public just the sense of despair, the absence of shame, the callousness on the public in this week of independence. Yeah, them just said, just see it again. The next man gone with the money. UDC sell their properties, government properties, people's properties for less than the valuation, and nobody can explain. An Auditor General have to write it. No, you're joking. Listen now. I'm going to talk this one till it finishes, see?
I don't know whether or not. I don't know whether or not.
And you spend big money going to Kigali.
The person has any authority in the UDC to accept certain values. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get off the point to make. Because we just have all of these institutions. And they spend thousands of money to build valuation.
I believe in institutions being strengthened. This week, We've had that thing with the UDC. We've had the uncertainty about the foreign affairs money with the Commonwealth Secretariat. And we have Windalco, the big bauxite company. Nasty up the people, cause them losses. Yes? And they are out of food right now. And we promise them money, but they don't get it. Yes?
What do you mean they don't get it?
They don't get none.
No. They're going to get it. They can't. It's not a shop. You know, you draw PO.
Mr. Charles,
yes.
I'm going to withhold your dinner and tell you that you may get a next dinner 3 weeks time.
That is if I mess up and my helper didn't cook.
Hello. You have what to cook. Windalco have money right now. Them should have put out and restore those people. No longer talk about that.
And they're getting it?
No, I don't know.
Well, let us find out. Let us find out.
And how much time it happened?
Yeah, but Franny,
Cha.
I am not.
And then you are defending bauxite industry.
No, please. I am not
We're going to the break.
defending Windalco treatment. Inability to control that because the contract under which they're mining must have said how you are going to mine.
Don't do that. The Windalco don't even turn up and tell the people sorry yet. Them don't even go. Them send matches some new though. Cha. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM. The Honorable Pearnel Charles, veteran legislator, public official, politician, joins us. There's more to come when we return. Thanks very much for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. We link Jamaicans and Jamaican lovers all over the world. This is the Public Eye, spirited discourse between Chief Pearnel Charles and myself. Welcoming now American-Jamaican, Jamaican-American Carlton Roman. How are you, sir?
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Welcome to the Public Eye. Honorable Pearnel Charles is my co-host.
Okay.
Carlton Roman is described as a 26-year-old graduate of the Queensborough Community College. Tell us your Jamaican roots and tell us your story. I hear it's a very traumatic one, Carlton.
Yes, it is. But I was born in Lindsay, St. Catherine, and the year of my birth was 1962. So that 26 years that you just mentioned was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I went to, I guess what you used to call it them time, primary school.
Yeah,
a place called Jubilee.
Mm-hmm.
Then at 10 years old, I went to Kingston, lived with my mom in East Kingston. I went to Winward Road All School.
Okay.
Past common entrance, went to Camperdown.
Nice.
From about 73 to 78, 79, somewhere around there, graduated, then eventually migrated to New York with my mom. My mom was up there before, so I migrated up there in 1981. Went to college, did quite well actually, honor student, dean's list and all that. Transferred from there to Baruch College to pursue an MBA. Took a leave of absence and went to work, had a child, lived with my girl and all that, and was doing quite well for a very short period of time until my life went into the toilet, The New York justice system intervened. Something happened involving people I knew. As my granddad said, a bad company them still, but I used to hang around these guys and, I kind of somehow wound up being blamed for it. And
what happened?
Marley said darkness came over my life. Well, a house that I frequented where we used to hang out, a vicious shooting happened over there. Even though I wasn't there, I heard about somebody that got shot. And in the early morning, I tried to go to this guy's house. He was a good friend of mine. And when I went there, I called first because I was in disbelief hearing that the lawyer had gotten shot. I called his wife. I was like, somebody just called me to tell me this thing happened. Is it true? And she was like, yes, it did. And I was like, I'm coming over there right now. At this time, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7. I drove over there. It was like 5 minutes away. Banged on her door. They lived like in a little sub-basement. Nobody answered. I went across the street, picked up the phone. I'm calling and calling. Can't get no answer. I just speak to her like 5-10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm waiting This is in Queens, Francis Boulevard. I see 2 detective cars pull up. So I hang up the phone and walk over and start walking to the detectives because I figure if something do happen and this are the police, then probably can give me some answers. The woman pop up out of nowhere. I really can't say where she appeared from and point at me and said, there he is, he did it.
Well, a woman,
yeah.
just any woman?
The wife,
the wife,
of the person that got shot. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And that's how I wound up getting arrested. Indicted. I made bail. I was on bail for like 18 months, even though it was a double shooting and somebody got killed. But because I had a clean background, and the judge, the only reasonable judge I experienced in this entire episode, until the one that released me last year, gave me bail. My parents put up, the family home and all that, and I was on bail for 18 months. After a while, it was treated almost like a non-case until in 1990, it was no longer a non-case. I went to court as I was doing every month, and I was remanded, and 2 months later, I was upstate with a sentence of 43 and a third years to life.
On the evidence of that woman?
Yes, her and other people that were in the house that came to court, came to trial and said I did it. Somebody even survived the shooting, Ronnie, and came to court and said I shot him. So as unbelievable as all that sounded, I've been, like not just in consternation, but I was in a constant state of like battle because at no point did I back down or anything like that. I was arguing and insisting and pointing out the stuff that proved that what they're saying couldn't possibly work. There was like evidence offered that was like, for instance, manifestly impossible. Like people were saying like, oh, I know he shot me because I looked through this window and saw him outside running away from the crime scene. So one lawyer, years after I was convicted, went to the house, walked around, followed the evidence, and realized that where the guy was shot and where he said he was looking through a window to see me running away or whatever the hell he said, there was no window there. It was just a solid wall. But there was just all kind of little crazy stuff, some of which I still can't even explain for myself because people keep asking me the $1 million questions like, why did they pick you to say this stuff about? And I don't know. I have my own speculations, but there's no firm evidence because I haven't heard it from any of these people as to why me.
So you were sentenced. You were found guilty, sentenced.
Yeah.
And you're in prison for how many years?
31 years.
31 years.
31 years.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, this is an interesting tidbit I should add also. After they remanded me, they tried to offer me a plea bargain if I said I did it. They offered me 3 years. And obviously I refused that because I had done nothing. So from being offered 3 years, if you say you do something, to being sentenced to 43 and a third year. So yes.
Pearnel, you're offered. You see, we are just introducing plea bargaining in Jamaica now. So what you say is very important, because if you had lied on yourself and said that you did it, you would have been in prison for 3 years and probably less finally.
Yeah,
but
probably less.
But you stood for your truth that you never killed a man, you never shot anybody, and it's 43 years you get and 30 years you actually serve.
But let me ask you, did
Jesus.
you know that you are going to get 43? The difference between it was 3 or 43?
No, I didn't know that. Again, I was unfamiliar with the system as much as I used to dare, like people said, their own bad company. From the little time I was remanded, I learned that 25 years is the maximum you can get on a murder conviction. And 25 years seemed, well, if I refuse 3 years, I can't imagine what 25 years look like to me. But at the worst case scenario, and believe me, since I didn't do anything, I kept thinking there was no worst case scenario. This is going to work out like Matlock or something like that. And somehow, despite what happened at the night, somebody was going to come out and admit that I didn't do anything. But I didn't know I could possibly get fought.
Let me ask you this. What kind of lawyers you had? Who were the lawyers you had?
Well, I had a private lawyer then that I only learned later that, like people that say him essentially sell me out. He put up no fight. He didn't do any investigation. He didn't go to the crime scene. And I had alibi witnesses, to, like they said, this thing happened at a certain time. And I had witnesses that I was miles away at that time.
Yeah, but let me ask you. I don't understand. I'm looking at you. You look like a young man. You spent 40 years in prison?
31.
31.
Yeah, I'm presently 60 years old, Mr. Ron.
Yeah, how?
60.
60.
Well,
Listen, hold on now, dads. So how did you finally get released?
Okay. For the entire 31 years, I've been a reasonable education and not being shy about writing. I used to write everybody. I did, not only did my family, my mom in particular, pretty much deplete all our life savings paying different lawyers because there was various attacks on this conviction. I did 2 440 motions. I did direct appeals. I did appeals to the Court of Appeals. I did appeals in the federal system. We kept throwing money, or basically burning money. You don't know you're burning money at the time. You're trying to basically get some justice and some relief. But that's how that went. But in the meantime, I was always in the law library and, reading and doing as much as I could for myself. But one of the things I consistently did for the entire time was write people that I think could help me. I eventually came across a guy in the newspaper who helped somebody, a former policeman that was now a private investigator. And because I was always writing people, judges, politicians, whoever I could think of, I come across in magazines, newspapers, I hear them on the news or whatever. If I got a name and an address, I was writing. And sometimes people responded, but this guy responded also. And I laid out a few other things that could prove that there was something crazy about this case and could indicate that I had no involvement with it. And he took an interest. And his interest led to some media attention. And eventually the thing kind of snowballed to the point where the district attorney in Queens changed. And there was a new regime there. And they were talking all this stuff about progressive prosecutions. And they were interested in conviction review units that would re-examine cases to see if innocent people were in prison. And one thing led to another. And the first 10 cases they chose, that was right as COVID was about to hit anyway. I was one of the 10 cases that they chose through the efforts of my attorneys to review to see if in my situation an innocent man was there. They did an exhaustive investigation and going to like about 3 or 4 states. The prosecutor's office came to Jamaica like twice to locate a witness down there that had actually gotten me indicted, interviewed him. He admitted that he was lying and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's how it kind of unfolded till the prosecutor's office concluded that I was innocent. The police were wrong, made a mistake, or deliberately covered stuff up. The prosecutor's office itself did the same thing. And they admitted that they had the wrong person in prison. So
let me ask you a question. You have any compensation for the 40 years?
30 years.
Of course. But that's another process. That's going to take maybe 2 to 3 years before we can reach some kind of settlement. Yesterday made my first 12 full months as a free man in this country for 31 years. So that process is now underway.
Carlton, let me say this to you. I am one who suffered some of what happened to you.
Really?
And I think I'm one of the brave men of Jamaica. But I tell you the truth, I don't believe there's any portion of me could undergo what you have undergone for 30 years. And look the way you look, but people have said that to me too, but...
Yeah.
Carlton Roman, how you feel? How you feel about the system? How you got convicted? How you got released? And where you are now?
Okay, all right. I've actually been at a front row seat to watching the system basically change. It's come a very long way. For instance, when I went to prison in 1990, the prison system was vicious, and I'm not even gonna get to the literal prison system. I'm talking the justice system. You just could not be heard. Nobody wanted to hear you. Saying I'm innocent, I didn't do it. Nobody cared. It didn't matter what kind of evidence you brought. The judges would just basically just ignore it.
Was it because you're a black man?
That had a lot to do with it. And it had also, these are just different factors, man. I don't think it's because the prison system was populated by a majority of black people. I think it was just so ingrained in the system that once you're convicted, that was just your bad luck. You just do the time, whatever time they handed you, and they didn't want to hear it. And that became my reality for a long time. You see this whole Black Lives Matter and where some of the stuff that was happening on the outside world eventually got people to the point where people rose up and started really, creating a real stink about it and demanding change. That affected the justice system in big ways too, because without that, I don't think I'd have ever gotten a fair shake at all.
So, that's important, that public pressure on the outside for justice issues can in fact have an effect upon some of the rough justice, the injustice that people like yourself suffered.
Yes.
Okay. Now that to me is very, very important. That's a lesson that we have to learn. Okay.
But Johnny, to get that in place, that is the same thing. Our political system has that in mind.
No, but I want to know what we call a minister of justice. How much people know free?
That go to the political, go to the population.
Yes.
The population have a right to review our presence in government and to take a decision at the next round.
Yeah, but
5 years.
I'm Carlton Roman is telling us his story.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm obliged. Obliged to ask how many people like that we have in our system.
Well, I tell you the truth, you don't have me, because I don't believe that my 1 year.
Yeah.
I was up there boasting how I playing domino and I playing chess and I learning and taking exercise. But for 40 years.
30 years. Sentence was 40, but he served 30.
Right.
But so you forgive?
That's a tough question. That's a question I get asked. I did an interview with the guy with the people at the New York Times also, and I was trying to explain my feelings, and I guess it's a little bit complicated. I don't think forgive is the right word, but I'm not bitter. You understand? I guess I don't want to say I deal with prison differently from a whole lot of other people, but that was also true, because I met some really, really dynamic people in prison, and a lot of them was like Jamaican. I learned a lot from some very wise older guys that I met there. Unfortunately, I went there and seen some, and I still left them in there.
God Almighty.
There's Jamaicans that's been in there for over 40 years. That's still there right now. And as far as judging people's integrity and the moral character of what kind of people they are, some of them definitely shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
But they're there.
Have you seen people there who have said to you, look, we are not guilty, and based on your assessment, you believe they're telling the truth?
Yes.
But I want to know how much after you keep people in jail for years and months and years, you Pearnel Charles, you Carlton Roman multiple times, yeah? And and you're there because of wrong accusation or of miscarriage of justice, or in any event, even if you do something, there's no sense of forgiveness. How are you going to stand up before God when Him judge you?
No, but
who put you there? There is a final accounting,
Yeah, but Ronnie, could I tell you something that's going to surprise you?
Oh?
Some of the people who have put us there genuinely believe.
Don't know.
Hold on.
Genuinely believes.
Yes.
I'm sure.
He has just made a statement that he won't forget, but he's not bitter. And I would say, I consider lowering my standard of Christianity, love, family, to be bitter.
Okay,
but I don't forget.
No, but I'm asking about a system, because it's a roller coaster system that took Carlton Roman into this whole predicament, eh?
Yes. I
And
agree.
and,
He was trying to do good.
Im-
He went over to try and do good.
Hey, the woman who says you, she devout?
Well, I'm gonna see her now. She's here. She's in.
You're
She's in
lying.
America.
Carlton, you have just Jamaicanized yourself a
Yeah.
while ago.
No.
Boy, I'm gonna see her now.
But seriously, no. I mean, boy, what a story. Tell me, Carlton Roman, how about your son?
I have a daughter. I don't have a son.
Daughter.
When I went to, my daughter was 2 years old.
Yeah. And she's a
She's
big
now
woman
34.
now.
Yeah, 34.
And she go out all that
All this time
life
without her father.
coming to look for
Who
you and
never-
know
who
that
never-
that is
who
in
never
jail,
do nothing.
innocent.
Yeah.
It must be more painful to them than to you.
Boy.
Absolutely. I'm also an only child, and my mother have no other kids. So think about that too.
Yeah.
Are your mother still alive?
Yeah, she's right over there. Yeah, I'm at my mom's house right
Well,
now.
listen, we want to just convey we are Jamaicans. We care for our people. We never know about you. We couldn't know about you. But when you speak of the heroism of your mother who never lost faith, we want you to please, if you can, just convey to her that there are people here, many, many people, who just bless her, no matter how long she's been away from here, and really just say to you, boy, the words don't even fit. How sorry we are, and what kind of life can you pick up again now? You sound so measured and mature about what has been an absolute tragedy. It is a lesson to us in how to deal with suffering.
Well, I just want to say to your mother,
Ooh.
she might have been a mother, she must be a mother
Okay,
like
and what is
mine.
this?
My mother has never given up. I think she prayed like 3-4 times a day
Of course,
for the period.
yeah.
And she was sure that something going to happen.
No, but
Unlike the other lady who carried the peanut. I told you about the
yes,
peanut.
you did.
Yes.
But the key thing is, we have to look at this justice system, and we have to make sure every system, Carlton Roman, Pearnel Charles, makes mistakes, but we have to be able to look and review and so on, because there is a redemptive side.
To prevent us making mistakes.
Yeah. And when we make a mistake, to correct it.
Yes.
Yes, and simply saying, "Oh, you went through quotes unquote due process." That's not enough. I hear the minister of what's her name talking about due process. Yes, she doesn't understand what she's talking about. It's an excuse and a depreciation of people's lives when you do that. And the whole concept of punishment, Carlton Roman, is another issue. So we believe that because you do something that you must, if
To what dip to society? That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And don't forget.
But who do? Who do other things that are legitimated? Them no pay debt to society. Them get OJ. Right.
I don't know. I will still say the strength of mother,
Yeah, well,
the strength of family.
well,
It's something.
It's a big role, man. All of that help and keep me.
Remember, when I was where he was,
Yeah.
Gloria met an accident,
yes, I know, I heard that.
and almost died.
Yes, look at that.
Can you imagine that pain?
The two of you have an experience to share. Carlton Roman, we just pray for you to have a strong spirit. If you ever come back to Jamaica, check us out now. Because we really...
I plan to, man. I just wait for my immigration thing to straighten out.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Yeah. And we rate you for your endurance, and we share... There is a merit in unmerited suffering, and you can't look about it in material terms only. You have to look about it in spiritual terms too.
True.
You know that better than me. Thanks for talking to us today, big man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All the best.
Right.
Carlton Roman of New York, Queens. My God, what that said to you, Mr. Charles?
As brave I want to say, as brave as I was,
Aye.
as I am.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yes, sir. So I'm asking now. I'm I always want to see something happen. You too. I'm asking that you have taken away most of the responsibility from Delroy Chuck, who I believe is a decent lawyer. We need to review every case in our prisons, and I quiet the voices that say, "What review? Then for tande, then for dead, then for hang." Whether them cuss bad word or them kill somebody. What are we trying to do? how much does deterrent and recrimination enter into this
Well, let
thing?
me ask you, when you say review, you're talking about those, in your opinion, who are in there innocently?
No, I'm talking.
Those who...
I'm speaking about them particularly, yes, sir.
Yes.
But I'm also speaking about others whose guilt is not in question, but who have been there for years and who need now to have their situation reviewed. I'm aware of the law and the practice in relation to parole, but it is far too grudging, even from an economic point of view. Yes?
You're speaking as a pastor now. You're speaking as a pastor.
I'm speaking as a lawyer too. I'm
yes.
speaking as a retired politician too.
Yeah, but I hear a lady just bawled out a while ago saying, yeah, Mr. Thwaites, you hear her just say, you know what they want to do to me?
Yes, sir.
You know what they do
Yes,
to
sir.
my husband?
Yes, sir, I know.
You know?
And that
So-
person,
talk to her.
I'm talking to her.
Yes.
And I'm saying, Mother, I understand that. And if the person who has been judged guilty of doing those things to your relatives has not reformed, has not acknowledged his or her guilt, is not prepared to work and give some restitution to you, yes, then he should stay where he is. But
No.
if that has happened, and since that is the objective that we want to happen, we need to keep on reviewing this and making sure that we do not bury people alive and think we have done justice.
Could you give me permission to just say you were reading from a script that both of us wrote?
I would be happy. I will.
Because
my name will go at the bottom and yours go at the top.
Because it says exactly
Yes.
how I feel.
Yes.
And Ronnie, let me tell you
But
something.
look what happened last year, sir. Look what not year before. When we found that we had all of these old men in prison, yes, costing us over $1 million a year,
Yeah.
living in distress. Some of them never convicted of anything. Yes, they maybe do wrong, but them head take them. Yes, to a point now where they can't walk, but we are keeping them locked up. What kind of damn cruel fools are we?
Yeah, but listen to this is a bigger one. What about those people who pick me, who them parents take care of them?
Yes, sir.
The auntie take care of them.
Yeah.
And because the auntie going on looking foolish,
Oh,
them carry them go down to
We're not
Bellevue
justifying crime.
and leave them
Yes,
down
yes,
there.
yes.
And now Chris Tufton say they are well enough to come back home.
And you won't take
them can't find them.
But we put on, but we spend money for drone, for show pretty picture. Nice, wonderful, yes. But first things first. What about lifting up life? What about lifting up freedom? What about exalting vulnerable, weak human nature, the creature of God, rather than titivating ourselves in this or that? What an embarrassment that we have to go and ask now for the details of what Mrs. Johnson Smith spent on taxi and airfare and whatnot. That our government has to have a question sign over them because they spent $26 million flag on there for Karawa, for Wenwa, for enjoy who?
Let's not go there.
But I'm going there.
One of the day we want to discuss it because guess what?
Yeah.
If we in this country
Yeah.
had not fought against her,
Yeah.
should have got more than 3 more votes. In this country.
I mean, who fight against her? Not PNP.
Yes!
No.
What?
No.
The PNP objected to her.
No. What I heard Lisa Hanna say was that as a Jamaican, she would have to support her.
Lisa Hanna
Yes.
may have to resign because of that, what she have said.
No, I doubt it.
Well, let me tell you
Nothing
something.
like that.
Let me tell you something.
And let me
the PNP never supported Johnson.
Let me stop the point. If indeed that was the case, yes, they would be wrong, and I say so. If indeed that was the case, that would be wrong.
So,
But-
Ronnie,
but-
so-
and
yeah, go
and
ahead.
I'm not against the candidacy.
Yeah.
I'm against the public expenditure for the candidacy.
Hold on, let's go back to the candidacy.
I'm not against that at all.
Ronnie, the very day after she lost, the PNP came out with what they have been saying before she lost.
So you look here. Let me
Before they lost.
let us concede.
Yes.
I'm without acknowledging it or remembering it. If that is the case, then they are to be blamed. My concern is not the candidacy. Yes, my concern is the use of public funds. Because if I choose to run as Secretary General of the United Nations, I must find for my money. If it is public money, then I must be able to justify why, where, and how, and who it come from.
I'll go along with you.
What do you mean?
On certain things, but she wasn't going to as a candidate for herself. She was going as a candidate for Jamaica.
So Jamaica
She-
took a,
hold
so
on.
hold on, Jamaica took
And
a decision?
Jamaica paid for it.
Oh, okay.
Jamaica
So,
paid for
well,
it.
if that is
But
the case, then
Jamaicans objected and go around the corner
no.
and cut her down.
Look, I'm already. If that took place, that should not have been done. But if if Jamaica took a decision that our representative should go and run for this or that foreign office, yes, then we should have part of that decision.
Yes.
We never did.
If it was just to
And we should
flair for herself.
and we
then
should
it was
know.
better.
And if we pay for it, we should know how the money is spent.
You must know how they
But
money
then
spent.
we're not here.
Ronnie, listen. Many of us.
Sure, all this
and I
is
said
foolishness.
us, you included.
Deal with the priorities,
you,
no?
You included. You and I and many MPs.
Talking about.
You and I and many Jamaicans spend more than that
Yeah,
to run as MP.
So our whole value system have to look at, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But don't tell
As-
me about the man let's spend a little Jamaican money. If she had won, the attraction alone to Jamaica, tourist-wise, could have been millions more than that.
I seriously
So don't come with this foolishness.
No,
about
that's not
she spent-
foolishness.
No, I listen to the people who are talking on Cliff Hughes last night. Man said, monkey money.
Oh yes, that's what you call monkey money.
Hold on.
Oh, good.
No, not me.
Yes.
A man said that.
Uh-huh.
But you know what the people
Foolishness.
said? So what the person said, a lady that I agree, said, look here, if we had gone there to represent Jamaica,
Why we came to this argument? We came to this argument because we've been talking about the ineffective and wasteful spending of public funds.
and you have been on my side.
Right, but we're doing very little about it. In fact, we are multiplying and exaggerating it, aren't we? I just gave you the examples a few minutes ago, and I can repeat them. And we're talking about a system, a justice system, which is starved of funds, which is inequitable in all respects. Yes, and about that we are doing nothing.
I am not
gotta go.
I'm not objecting to what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm simply saying
Yes.
let us decide who
Yes.
is to be blamed
Yes.
when these things
I
happen.
want
is
to-
it one or many?
I want to avoid having to blame anybody. I want us to set standards and follow them that will prevent us from having this kind of argument at all. As we go to the break on the public eye on the bridge, we soon come back. Erwin Clare on Ira Jam Radio, our partners in linking the diaspora, the Jamaican spirit, anywhere in the world.
Indeed, indeed. And indeed it was this past weekend, gentlemen, because I tell you, Jamaica's borders were indeed overflowing because wherever we were, Sir Pearnel Charles and Ronnie Thwaites, it was Jamaica. Jamaica. The
Yes.
flags were flying. In fact, we are so honored that this past Saturday, as a result of a resolution passed in the state capital of New York State, Governor Hochul made it that August 6th will always be Jamaica official flag raising here in the state of New York. And
But-
that is indeed a significant achievement.
The Bossier Pearnel.
Did you contribute to that?
How you mean? It's our presence here cause that. They respect our presence.
I heard that you've been pushing that all the while. and that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
It's a means of uplifting our people. We have been significant contribute to these United States, and we are proud. We have brought forth some of the entrepreneurs, and one, in fact, we'll be speaking to later on today. But, gentlemen, how is it going?
Well, let me tell you something before Ronnie disagree. And I probably am going to be spanked by the owners of
the bridge.
The bridge?
We'll protect you.
I
Bobby,
want to
listening.
say,
Yes.
thank God,
Yeah.
we had a few days when we did not make the headline with any murders and shootings and so forth. Right? It was a pleasure getting up and just seeing people happy, working, walking, enjoying the period of time rather than mourning, apart from the fire in central Kingston, which we're not sure whether. But I don't want to praise the guys who would be firing, but to say to them, thank you. You give us a good period. Let us see if we can continue it and
Well, you
make
see,
Jamaica a better place.
You see, part of it too has to do with how we deal with each other, our civic associations and relationships. And it's obvious that when we are preoccupied with positivities in our lives, I think it has an impact on how we treat each other in an uncivilized way.
Of course it does, but I want to share Pearnel's approach, but at the same time, that's a minimalist situation because the guns are still out there. The injustice is still there.
Yes.
We need a break in order to catch our breath and to celebrate. There's so many good things and good people, but I'm anxious that we're dealing with the fundamentals. Yes,
The substance.
the
yes.
substance.
Yes.
I commend the government for the assistance, limited though it is, to help people to go back to school. Back to school is 2 weeks' time,
Yes.
Yes, but I have to tell you that it is not nearly what is required,
Indeed.
and that we are lurching back to the new academic year with no appreciable change in our education system.
And some serious challenges as it relates to those who will be in the classroom teaching our
well,
children.
I knew you would go there.
That's the worst one.
That's the worst one. And so the country needs to be harnessed towards developing a culture of education that prizes it, that rewards it, that holds it accountable, rather than just pitney go to school and you learn or you don't learn, you come out same way. Or
Right, but
anyway.
let me challenge you on something.
Challenge me now.
We train our teachers free.
Uh-huh.
Our teachers are trained by the taxpayers' money of Jamaica.
Much of it.
Much of our teachers are not dedicated to that. No, this is not to take from some who are overly dedicated.
True.
There are because there are mothers that I know who carry them picnic to school to get to the teacher,
Yes, sir.
They can't wait for school to open.
Yes, sir.
So those teachers are not only teaching, they are mothers
Mothering.
and fathers, and they carry food too.
Yeah. So what are you saying? Where do we go? Why can't we make that culture universal? Every one of us who would come to anything in this country can point to such a teacher or teachers.
Yes.
You have told me of yours many times.
Yes.
Now, where are we going to make that difference?
You were a minister of education, and I want a statement from you.
Yes, sir.
To the teachers who are going to America,
Yes, sir.
Canada, because they can make some more money.
Yeah.
Granted, the other teachers have children too. The other teachers have hard life, but thousands of teachers get up and gone
Yes.
because they want more money and a better life. Can't complain on a better life, but
Well, my view is they will not have a better life necessarily. They will have more possessions, and I don't blame any of them or rather, I understand why many of them will go, because they cannot meet their obligations under the present circumstances, and therefore, I am calling and willing to play my part in what I could not achieve when I was minister, which is a total rethinking of a revolutionizing of the education system. And I follow the more recent enunciations of somebody we both know well, the Honorable Bruce Golding, yes, who has been very clear that the present arrangements that we have with our teachers are unsustainable. They are underpaid, they are not accountable, they are not bonded, and therefore, who want to go, and who can stay, and
But
that's it.
Gentlemen, the argument are all salient points that you're all making. And one could say it's like a broken record, because we keep recognizing what the challenges and what the problems are. And yet we seem to be so slow in moving towards putting some things in place. We can't do it all at once, but putting some things in place to mitigate. When is that going to start?
Well,
Because before we respond, because I have to believe that the fact that if teachers are leaving our system in the way they are and impacting education, it means then that we'll have some challenges within the education of our people. Isn't that a larger expense than taking hold of certain situations right now and taking and accepting the sacrifices? Because the future is going to be more costly, and even the immediacies.
Without doubt. Now, bear in mind that it is 1 year in next month. September will make 1 whole year since the Patterson report, with all of its recommendations, has been presented to the government of Jamaica. We have to ask ourselves, not just what has been done, but has there been any careful consideration? Not 1 hour of parliamentary time, not 1 clear statement of direction from the opposition, not 1 clear statement of policy from the Jamaica Teachers Association. Yes, where does that really put us? How do we see ourselves making a change in education? No, just ask that. No supplementary estimate, no budgets, but we're finding money for other things, and we're failing to make the necessary changes that are required here.
Well,
Erwin, that's a problem, you know.
Ronnie, I will support you by saying, I have said it, I will keep saying it, that without an improvement in the education system in terms of quantity and quality, we are heading in a worse direction than we were in the past, because technology has gone, everything has moved up.
Indeed.
Everything has gone up. If we don't change or move in that direction, we'll be worse off.
Indeed. Well, gentlemen, I think we have a special guest on today who can demonstrate that they are way ahead of where we are, but they are not just moving ahead and leaving us behind, but have been contributing to our infrastructure and to the development of our youth. And I think we have that person on now. Do we have them there, Ronnie?
I think so, yes.
All right.
Could you introduce them?
Yes. But we're going to introduce them briefly and then take a break thereafter. But this young lady is, I've always said that when the dictionary is rewritten and the term philanthropy is in it, that you will see a name that will come up with it right there, and that will be Vincent HoSang. Our guest today is Sabrina HoSang Jordan, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Caribbean Food Delight. She is an award-winning young professional entrepreneur and business leader who is recognized among her peers as a model, team builder, and motivator. Needless to say, she's of Jamaican stock, and she runs now, I like to say, probably the largest patty production company in the world, Caribbean Food Delight. An entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a child of Jamaican parentage. We welcome her to our conversation. Good day, Sabrina.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Dear listeners.
Listen to me, Miss Sabrina. If you know how patty dear in Jamaica now, you see, we beg you. try keep yours at a modest price and spread the word that Jamaica has the finest food that is possible. We pay tribute to Mr. HoSang, the Honorable Mr. HoSang. He shares the Order of Jamaica with my co-host, the Honorable Pearnel Charles, and we really are anxious to hear how the impact that you have begun can spread within your community and beyond.
All right. But Sabrina, I want you to hold your thoughts, because we're going to take a break. Now, when we come back, international break, we'll delve right into it, because as we speak also to gentlemen, there are some young persons from Jamaica right there at the plant as part of the foundation's endeavor to assure entrepreneurship to our young generation in Jamaica. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
We want to hear the Patty story, and we want to know how UWI connects. We're very anxious when you people flee Mona into the real life and world that we live in, you know.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Ronnie, thanks for having us.
Good. Sabrina, you were telling us. What's the story? Tell us, remind us of Vincent HoSang, what your business is, and how the Jamaican flag flies in and out of your business.
So 20 years ago, my dad supported the UWI by their entrepreneurship program. which is the Vincent HoSang Entrepreneurship Program, which also teaches and mentors students there to be their own boss. So Doug Lindo, who's the program chair, and we have Tamara here, who also, and their team in Jamaica at UWI, the Mona campus, helps out. And over the years, we started out with 150,000 endowments, and to continue with the program and help them, add more exciting things to the program, we also donated 60,000. And this year, for the 20th anniversary, we donated 20,000 US to the program. So I know Tamara or Doug will tell you a little bit more, but this has been a dream of our family to support, education for the youth. And of course, my dad was so excited. He never finished high school. He had to help out his parents in the family business. So this is something that he, always wanted to do and give back in that way.
How does the program work, Douglas Lindo?
Thanks, Ronnie, and again, thanks for having us on. The program works on an annual basis across the University of West Indies by one of two main initiatives. One is an annual venture competition where we invite aspiring entrepreneurs and faculty who think they have something to commercialize to enter a pitch competition. The winners of that competition starts in September of every year and culminates in a final in January of the following year. That winner goes on to a national business model competition and then has, in turn, the opportunity to compete internationally for Jamaica, but also to pitch your business idea on a scalable level. The second part of our program works with youth entrepreneurs and faculty outside of a competition environment to accelerate their business ideas. And, one of the things, Ronnie, that contributes to our success certainly has been the fantastic cooperation and support that we've had, not from the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation as a foundation, but in the personality and family of the individuals. That Sabrina, her dad, Shakira, Janice, Julian, it's a good example of leaning into an opportunity and cooperating irrespective of borders, the family being in New York and the program being in Jamaica to impact young people for results. So in summary, over the last 10 years in particular, not only have we been able to manage very successfully and entrepreneurially the funds invested by the family in the program, but we've been able to generate the type of interest from Jamaican companies and Jamaican foundations to partner with the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation in this initiative at the university that has produced close to 15 businesses that are in commercial operation over the last 10 years, and we've had close to 2,000 students benefit from boot camps, competition participation, and international exposure.
Well, that's great. Erwin, Claire, I want to hear some of the stories. I want for these guys to tell us about some of the business ideas so that others listening to us can say, but wait, I have an idea or I can do something like this.
Indeed, they're there with Sabrina right now in Tapan, so maybe we can get one of the students there to say something.
Well, let me explain why they're here. So, so part of the winning prize for the winners is an annual trip. It's all expense trip paid by the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation, and they're given the opportunity to witness firsthand the role Jamaicans play, both in the New York public and private. Ellis and Marvin Richards, which I'll give them the opportunity to explain their projects and their business plans.
Morning, everyone.
Morning. You're learning to make patty.
Yeah, we had some taste of some patties earlier. There's a new one we'll hear about soon enough.
Well, we can have a patty competition, because we have some Jamaicans out here. Added some whole lot of new ingredients.
Pearnel Charles, listen to the man now. What is he saying? Go ahead.
All right, so morning again, everyone. So my idea that I have is in terms of converting organic waste to compost. As we know, the landfill in Jamaica, Riverton, every now and then bursts into flame. A large percentage of that, or reason for that, has to do with the organic waste that's there that converts to methane gas and of course, ignites every now and then.
Yes.
60% of the waste that's there is actually organic waste, and that actually can be converted to something that's viable. So what I'm looking at is converting that to compost material, which could help with the farming situation.
Sure.
As we're experiencing now. We know there's a lot of food shortage, and the soil is actually having a lot of issues, fertilizer issues. All these things are challenges being experienced now by local and regional farmers. And so this product would be able to try and mitigate some of those issues that they're experiencing now, while of course turn some profit in the process as well.
No.
So that's just in a nutshell.
Well, that's very good. I'd love to know how you can scale that, because we know the benefit of compost, but somehow we've never been able to take it beyond the backyard. What's your thought?
Right. Well, the process that is commonly used is what they call the windrow method, which takes approximately 4 to 6 months in order to produce the compost material.
Yes.
But the process that I'm using takes around 24 hours in order to produce the same product.
Wow.
Yeah, so we won't go into exactly how we do that, but that's the process that we're doing to convert, and that's where some of the sweet sauce is. And the intent is possibly, we're looking at this from a research standpoint, or maybe even using compost that targets specific types of products or crops, therefore increasing the yield for those crops over time. Maybe even potentially impacting where the pesticide issues that they're experiencing now as well. It may have some potential of reducing that as well. Well, so we'll see where we go from here.
You know, Ronnie, that is so timely when we consider the Prime Minister's endeavor to close Riverton. And also back here in New York, just this past week, Mayor Adams here in New York started a similar situation here where compost will be used from our garbage as well. But I also want to hear from one of the young misses, because, you know, I'm always intrigued by what their contribution is in these endeavors. Ladies?
Well, my name is Shakira Chin. I just started with Sabrina in marketing and PR, so I am not necessarily a part of the winners, but I am their local New York chaperone, basically, in sense.
All right. You know, we have to be balanced. Yeah, we have to be balanced there, you know, Pearnel, Charles.
Yes, a fellow Chinese Jamaican here, so you know it's.
You notice how you hide where the woman come from? That you also don't tell us. I bet you is the Clarendon and not a Senton.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, here we go. No, Mr. HoSang came from St. James. All right.
Thank you for having me present.
Well, thank you, and thank you for telling us. But I'd like to know, what's the scope of this program? Do you follow through to see whether these businesses thrive and where they may need some mediation, some help afterwards? Douglas Lindo, Sabrina HoSang, it's important because there's a high failure rate among small businesses, and yet our entire development thrust here depends upon the proliferation of successful small businesses. Yes. Tell us more.
Well, let me come in here and just let me take up where Erwin was leading us. You know, two of our teams that are there in New York today are headed by males, but the majority of our entrants and program participants are actually ladies. So we have two other teams that couldn't make the trip, but are in the acceleration phase with us that are headed by women. And it is a testimony of the resilience of our young Jamaicans as a whole. So, Erwin, let me assure you, the ladies are well represented. Right. They have the quality of resolve that takes ladies into 100-meter finals and finish 1, 2, 3. So I can assure you, when we rebroadcast the next time and you have us on, I will bring some of the ladies on to speak about some of their ideas and what they've done.
All right.
But
but beg you help the men too. You here, because if you don't want a so-so man, because all these bright ladies, who are they going to marry?
Ronnie, I know it's equally yoked.
Ronnie, there's another gentleman there, and I think we'd like to hear his program as well.
Yeah,
his contribution.
And then Ronnie, I'll come back in and speak to what you've asked in terms of the follow-through and the ecosystem.
Very good.
Yes.
Marvin, let's hear from you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Marvin Charles. I'm the CEO of Rush Alert Limited. So essentially what Rush Alert Limited, it's a security notification company that enables an individual while in transit to send out an alert, which can go to the emergency contact or a security company. So Rush Alert was born out of a problem, a personal problem of mine, where one day one of my cousins by the name of Rashid Samuda, on his way to the ice cream shop on Sunday evening, was abducted and robbed and brutally murdered. And out of that, I decided that we definitely need a solution to mitigate this crime and violence issue in Jamaica. And it was born, and through the Vincent HoSang program, we were able to innovate on the idea, as well as pivot and make the idea what it is today. So it was last year we had signed a five-year contract with the University of the West Indies to offer our security platform to the students and staff. However, we are currently just being accepted into their lead program, which we'll be trying to accelerate the business, try to scale up, because we know that it's not only students on the University of the West Indies campus facing this issue, it's a nationwide issue. So we want to get our platform right across Jamaica and across the region, where we can play our part in mitigating the crime and violence issue in Jamaica.
Are these programs, these projects, in order to qualify, they have to have some show of commercial viability, Douglas Lindo?
Absolutely, Ronnie. So we use a lean, what's called a lean canvas or business model canvas approach to having students and university staff as well who sign up for our program define the pain point or the problem instead of using desk research to try and validate something that they think is an opportunity. Because a great idea is not necessarily a monetizable opportunity. So we have a very structured program that we take them through from instructional boot camps to mentoring that separate or reduce the degrees between success and failure.
A great idea is not necessarily a great opportunity.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we're learning some lessons, aren't we? Because that means that some of my favorite ideas may have to be put down, and I have to think of something else. It means that there has to be a tolerance of failure, and nonetheless the courage to try again. That involves a lot of the kind of mentorship that I think I'm sensing from that boardroom that I'm looking at here, where Sabrina is encouraging, mentoring those young people. Is that sustainable? Can it be scalable, Douglas Lindo?
It is, and I'm glad you touched on that, Ronnie, because I have to again really thank Sabrina and the team for over the years not only investing in what we're doing in Jamaica, but building the bridge, Erwin, to resources in the U.S.
Right.
So we've benefited from U.S.-based mentors in diaspora. We've had parts of the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation Network host seminars on our behalf. Technology has enabled significant opportunities to have our young entrepreneurs like Marvin and Dr. Ellis, who is there, understand what scale really means. One of the challenges I think we have in Jamaica with young entrepreneurs, it's natural. We're an island of 3 million people. Sometimes we think scaling is moving your idea from Runaway Bay to Kingston, right? And that's very important in terms of a step in the process. But to get it to a monetizable level, we need we have a program of engaging young people and their minds in understanding what size, and doesn't mean necessarily going to North America, but maybe going regional, maybe actually going just across the breadth of Jamaica, means to making a viable business, not just for today, but for tomorrow, from a decade and a decade or a generation out.
Douglas, this whole relationship here between the UWI and Caribbean Food Delight, has it engendered other corporate entities to recognize the value of these type of relationships and how they can become also part of this whole dynamic?
Absolutely. We've had cultivated long-lasting partnerships with JMMB, for example, and the Joan Duncan Foundation. We brought on board through our coordinator, Tamra, Guardian Group this year. We even have government partnerships with the Development Bank of Jamaica, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, among another very impressive list of private sector partners. So very good point, Erwin, that what happens is that Jamaican companies, not only by way of their cash, but also providing expertise of time to mentorship, have understood the model and have decided to lean in with us.
Great.
Must give a shout out as well to a lot of our alumni from the program who come back, who hold very key positions in large Jamaican organizations, who come back and sow back into the program.
Great.
When we come back from the break, Sabrina HoSang, Jordan, is this going to continue? Can the foundation, has it found favor with your objectives? Can we look for this? And how do we spread this culture? I'm just feeling the yearning ears of so many of our listeners here and abroad who want to think of small business ideas for Jamaica. This is exciting stuff. This is a Public Eye on the Bridge with Ira Jam. Soon come. We're on the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM with Ira Jam. This is a global connection. Erwin Clare is the anchorman in New York, Pearnel Charles and myself in Kingston. Fascinating discussion with Sabrina HoSang Jordan of the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation and Douglas Lindo of the University of the West Indies, and a whole part of people who are just in 4 or 5 years' time going to be bursting forward with all these ideas, rich with technology. But I love the grassroots idea of them. You know, one, taking a tragic family situation and making a business out of it. The other one, using things that we have so much of, which is waste material, organic waste material,
Indeed.
And turning that into something useful.
And very timely to run it.
Yeah.
Timely. Because even when we look at back here in the United States, a significant budget that was spent, that was passed recently, that has so much to do with climate change and the whole situation of the whole our environment to be dealt with. I think these are opportunities that are worthy, and I commend the young folks for being attentive to this.
Sabrina, what is the assessment of the foundation of the effort that you're making? Is it something that is a one-off deal, or are you going to be able to, or try to sustain this going forward?
Oh no, we're committed to sustaining it for years to come. I think it takes a village. I hope that other Jamaican businesses and Caribbean businesses will join us.
That's why I'm asking you. We want your example to be infectious.
Yes, please spread the word. But you know, we really can't do this alone. And I want to thank all who have, you know, the sponsors and the partners and everyone on Doug, Tamara, and their team for helping out, because we couldn't do this alone. And they're really doing a fantastic job. Really keeping to the programs since the inception, the vision and the core values.
Douglas Lindo, suppose business in Jamaica, suppose we could name them, the big ones, the medium ones, the small ones, could be stitched together in a tapestry by the University of the West Indies, by the Mona Institute, yes, and people felt, along with the state agencies, the Jam Pros, Pearnel Charles, the ministries of industry, whatever, the technology centers, and people felt, man, when I leave school, when I finish my education, this is the kind of thing that instead of looking not disparaging at all, a civil service job or a visa to go abroad, that I would be saying that my passion as I develop is to think of a business idea and know that I can get some help with this. What a different place we would have, sir.
Yeah, so Ronnie, sometimes it's hard to see the good in all that is happening around us. I really appreciate the opportunity of Bridge allowing Sabrina and ourselves to be here, because I believe it's taking root in young people in Jamaica, and on a broader facilitating level. What's happened in Jamaica, and this is across the political divide, is that there's been an investment in creating an ecosystem that started under the PNP government before and held up by the JLP government, which is the Ignite program being run by the DBJ. So there are pieces of the puzzle that are coming together in a very unique and certainly in my lifetime, an unprecedented way, which sees not only our diaspora and partners and investors coming together with private sector, public sector, and academia. and it's very early days, but we're seeing some of those things beginning to take root, which will be the foundation of growth and bearing fruit. Indeed, and those two young men, and hopefully we get the opportunity to bring on a couple of the ladies in the near future, are evidence of that. These young men that are in the room today are not only aspirants in terms of their business and entrepreneurship, but they've also invested in their education.
Correct.
To be able to be critical thinkers and persons who apply what they learn going forward. And I'm seeing a wider base of that. The take-up in the university for the program over the last 3 years in particular has gone from 20 teams a year to averaging approximately 60 to 80 teams of entrepreneurs or
really?
Students.
Which by itself, Douglas, and what Sabrina just says, opportunity for other businesses to latch on to a winning program.
Sure.
And again, this also demonstrates the diversity. When we talk about diaspora engagement, just how diverse that engagement can be. And I think what Sabrina and her dad here has done has provided a blueprint.
No, I love the combination and the partnership. Pearnel Charles, Michael Manley used to tell me, that he, along with every other Jamaican, had some kind of roast in mind. That no matter being Prime Minister, he still wanted to cultivate a business for his roses or his coffee or something like that. Yes. I'm sure that you have had many ideas of things to do, and it is inbred in our DNA, Miss Sabrina. And if we can cultivate this among our young people and eventually spread it to others as well, whoever, if we know how to apply and how to get some help, then I can see a much brighter economic future than to concentrate on some of the things that we do and which may be sunset industries. What do you think?
Well, is it party catering mostly to Caribbean people, or it's getting integrated into the American system?
Party gone to the world now.
Hello. I think Sabrina can endorse that one. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Well, not only national, but we are international with patties, right. And we are the largest in the world, I have to say. I know you have some patty companies in Jamaica, but we are the largest.
Look at that.
And we sell to the big club stores, Costco, BJ, Sam's, Walmart, and supermarkets all over the world. Even Price Smart. If you remember, we had the patty controversy in Jamaica one year.
Yes.
We had our patties in Jamaica, but that wasn't on purpose though. So yes. But as you see, we have some patties here. The students have enjoyed it along with the chaperone, and we have some jackfruit patties.
What?
They tried. Yep.
Jackfruit patty.
Might have to bring that to Jamaica.
Well, I'm going to say something now, which I don't know who will like it, because remember Juicy Patty. You know who is Juicy?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know Juicy in Clarendon?
Yeah.
That start to make patty in them yard and carry come and make and sell.
Yeah, but Mr. HoSang, it's a similar kind of story.
And it leave Jamaica with a grip.
It leave from Jamaica, go Canada and New York.
Well, look at
and
that.
London.
So, but when I hear that the HoSang enterprise is now the largest patty making in the world, that is good for Jamaica,
But gentlemen, we must also recognize, that when we can have any of our entity that we can say is a flag-bearing entity of ours,
right.
where the governor can call on the CEO and say they want them to be part of their economic focus group during the time of COVID. What is that saying to us?
Yeah.
What is that saying to us? So therefore, the sky is the limit here. And I recall this story every time. Mr. HoSang always says this. He came to America with a grip. And Pearnel know what I'm talking about. A grip. All right? He came to America with a grip. And that grip has now gripped us into other spheres of life, because as an organization such as Team Jamaica Bickle and the plethora of alumni associations and community-based groups that have benefited from his largesse, we are better off because of his investment and his foresight. And we look forward to the continuity with Sabrina HoSang at the helm.
Love the connection with the University of the West Indies too. Thanking you for giving us a surprising, a real surprise today to know that this is ongoing and that people are benefiting, want to hear more in the future. Thank you all very much.
Indeed,
Pleased
Douglas
to have
Lindo.
you.
Yeah, Douglas Lindo and team, welcome.
You say the goodbyes for us, Erwin.
Yes, and you know,
And thank you so much. Can I just say thanks to everyone who have supported World Caribbean Bakery and Caribbean Food Delights
I
over
love
the
that,
past
you know.
44 years, because this would not be possible. So thank you so much, and thanks for having us.
Well, that's
Indeed.
nice. Hear
And
the
I
ladies
just-
giving
Well,
thanks.
as I tell you before, Randy off the air, and he was asking me, you think if we can get hot patty, leave New York and reach Jamaica hot?
all right, wait. Yeah, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Technology.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Technology.
Yes, man. Next year, Caribbean Food Delight will celebrate 45 years of their contribution to the world via patties and other products. And
Mark
at the pen
the
relays,
date.
yes,
Mark
and
the
the pen
date.
at the pen relays, it will be the penultimate. So look forward to some big things
Sure,
next year,
and we
we
welcome
congratulate
you on the
them.
program between now and then. And all the
Right.
young entrepreneurs there,
Yes.
good fortune to you. Keep going. We love to hear your stories. This is what it's all about. It gives the
Right.
diaspora hope.
And,
Right.
and again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank the Vincent HoSang Family Foundation,
Sure.
personally, Sabrina and Vinny. They've been very close to us. It's not been a program that's been supported by this, but by personally, and we're grateful.
Good.
We want to thank our team, our Jamaican team to running.
Sure.
And Mr. Charles, that Dawn Morgan and Janice Henry is a small team of people, but very committed to get the thing done. Our coordinator there, Tamara, it's really a testimony.
Very good.
of
It's
how
what we
all
can
work
do.
together for good.
Blessings. Thank you
All
to
the
all.
best.
All the best to you. Great.
Sure.
Erwin
Thank you
Clare,
very much.
thanks for introducing
before
us
you
to
go-
a really nice one today.
Yeah, man. And before you go, yes, sir.
I'm
Go
sorry that I'm
Right.
not on the platform, because you are really the man I would want to promote me, boys.
I will. You can have your people reach my people, and we'll arrange that.
What's
But
that?
I'd have to catch you off the air to ask you a question that Randy and himself were discussing this morning.
Lord of His mercy. I probably need
Don't do
legal
it now
advice.
because he's
Listen. I also want to give a big shout out to Janice. Janice, who here at IRIJAM, who have been very much instrumental in this putting together this presentation here, and we are so grateful for that and her involvement with the foundation as well.
Thank
All
her
right?
too. Thank you
Yes.
all. These are the kind of partnerships that give us a hearty future. We're pleased to hear. Thanks so much for the global connection with
Yes, sir.
IRIJAM. Happy always to have you.
All the best, sir.
Till next time.
Thanks again.
Good.
So, Randy, we have to again express our pride to the Bridge Nation, because I think we're doing
No, I don't know of any other station that has done this kind of link up.
No,
and quite frankly, this is the story of our future. You know,
Yes,
To me, I was skeptical about how the interview would go, but happy now. And it is this kind of thing that is going to add to people's liberty, and it engages partners here, abroad. What a remarkable connection that HoSang, who has his small empire in New York, nonetheless relates back to the University of the West Indies. Good for the University of the West Indies to come out of its shell and engage people in no more intellectual ghetto, as Perkins used to call them. Yes. And then for us to be able to use the media broadcasting in New York on IRIJAM and here in Jamaica on the bridge makes it a nice connection and gives hope for the future.
And I understand other people are considering making bridges.
Well, so they're better. And but I repeat the challenge. Suppose we had programs like this supporting people with business ideas. Yes, as a matter of course, that this was our main business. Yes, boy, we would all have that surge of hope, of respectful competition, of collaboration. And I believe that our future would be as bright as we would want it.
I don't know if you have been examining, but a number of young people, 3 and 4, mostly women, are putting themselves, getting together with small companies.
Yes.
and doing very well. They don't have any large workforce to contend with.
No.
They are the carriers and sellers
do anything,
and builders.
everything.
And that is how the big company started.
Of course. Remember what Michael told me. Everybody has an idea for a roast. Yes? And so we take those ideas and we elevate them, and eventually some, not all, become mainstream,
Yes.
grow, and indeed.
And others learn from the mistakes of others.
Absolutely, and keep it do something else. And if you think of our economic difficulties at this time, or propensity to depend on imports, or the difficulties that are exogenous to Jamaica but nonetheless affect us in the world, this is the way to go.
And it also answers the question that you asked me some weeks ago. Where are the unions?
Well, does.
Guess what? They don't, there's no need to unionize because they're all owners.
Well,
all 6 people in one company.
Yeah.
They put their little thing together, and they're investors in their company, and sellers and buyers.
Yes. And then a final word before we sign off. When you build an economy around that, you take the rough edge of capitalism out of the picture, because people are themselves owners. The problem of that the critique of capitalism was based on was the exploitation of labor.
Yes.
But if I'm an owner, or if I'm a participant within the small collective doing something.
Guess what I thought you were going to say?
What?
That you're bringing capitalism and socialism closer.
Oh, isn't that nice? That'll be part of the combination of Thwaites and Charles. And thanks so much to everybody who has made today's Public Eye a happy event and a fruitful event. Thanks to you, Jeffrey, Romy, LaFane, all of you. Thanks to Sean. Thanks to the Bridge 99 family in general, and to the Arajam family in New York. It's always a pleasure to compare this program on a Wednesday. Remember us next week, Live Spare. God willing, we'll be back. Till then, take care.